There is an important difference, and I hope that you have thought about that or that you are going to think about that because it's very important. A certain difference between pain and suffering. In life, you must learn to endure pain. There will there will be incidents, there will be facts, there will be certain conditions that will bring great pain, great deal of pain inside of you. You have to be able to go through this pain. But there is a moment where this pain can become really endless and it can be transformed into suffering. You have to understand that pain can be acceptable. It's natural, it's human, and you can learn lots of things from your pain. But from the moment it becomes an endless suffering, a depressive state of being, this is where normally you should stop and take some action. What I mean by that is that you have to understand at a certain point in your life that life is not easy and that you will need a certain amount of morals. You will need a certain amount of moral standards in order to go through life, in order to preserve your dignity, your integrity. You can do nothing without your dignity and integrity. If you don't have that, how in the world are you going to find a solution within this chaotic situation that pain or endless suffering can create in your life? You have to have a reference, some kind of an inner higher self that will open up a new way, that will arrive, will manage to be inspired and bring you a certain solution that will allow you to listen to this inner voice that knows how to guide. If you haven't developed the means to have this inner voice well present there, how in the world are you going to step out of this endless, unnecessary suffering? Because when suffering becomes unnecessary, then your whole life can be wasted. Okay? Um, there is a nice example over here. The example of the movie Matrix and the example of Neo at that moment, Neo, where he stops the bullet that are coming towards him. Okay? At that moment, we see that Neo is changing um, a state of vibration. What happens is that he steps out of human suffering completely. Why? Morpheus states that very, very well. Okay? That, oh, he starts to believe. He starts believing. He believes now. He believes, which means he accepts that everything around him is an illusion and that all external conditions can be actually guided and formed through what happens and what lies within. He accepts that and he's no longer identified with whatever comes from the outside. Of course, he's there. He is. He stops the bullet. He stops the bullet. He keeps on fighting, but he's no longer aggressive. There is a war going on around him, and he is not into that. He's in peace with himself. Yeah, he's in war. He's in a defense. He's in defense, but he's not in war. Inside him, he's calm. Okay? So he's not identified with anything that comes to him, and he accepts. He accepts and goes along. Okay? It's very difficult to describe that state and what it means to be there. But what I want you to keep in mind is that he didn't arrive there just like that. Yeah, he had some help. Okay? He had a lot of techniques that were given to him like that. Okay? Like small, data that he uploaded in his brain. Okay? But even with all these means, with all these methods, okay, in the beginning it was really hard for him. Remember the moment that he had to wake up. You remember the moment that he had to choose between the red and the blue pill. And what happened afterwards? He chose the path of truth. And this had consequences in his life. And he had a great deal of suffering and pain. The pain of realization that he's living in a big illusion. So, yes, pain, suffering, and the loss of all your illusions and lies are really completely connected. So he had to go through a certain process, and there was a guy next to him. There was a higher reference, a guide, an instructor. You can name it whatever you want, a guru, a master, whatever. But there was a higher reference, a higher standard, okay, with certain morals, a path of life, of a new life, and he decided to follow that path. At the moment that he started stopping the bullets, he became actually his own master.